Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, Asking the Entrepreneur Who Owns One. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed about owning your own business, then this is a show to listen to. And today's guest is Darryl Buchanan, who is the Vice President of Franchise Development for Allegra Print and Imagaing. And, Darryl, one of the questions we like to ask our guests is, what's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you since joining Allegra Network?
Well, I always had a dream of, owning my own business since I was a young person, grew up in a blue-collar family, and the most interesting thing that ever happened to me, with my military background and everything like that, was having an opportunity not only to own a franchise, but own multiple locations,
right.
And then being a partner in a chain that has over 600 locations worldwide. So I'm real excited about having that ownership. I never knew where franchising was going to go. I never knew about if I owned one business, I could be part of a franchisor that has over 600 today. So to me, that's maybe the most interesting thing that's happened in my life and since joining Allegra.
That's fantastic.
Just the whole excitement of the growth and the different brands you have now, and the signs and the upgraded technology. I imagine that's a lot of excitement for you, Darryl. What you've seen, especially over the last few years. Yeah,
and the fact that we try to grow pretty conservatively. I mean, we want to make sure we're putting the right people in the right business. We expect to do this year somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70 locations. In the first quarter of this year, we did 20, and so we're very excited about that growth, but more importantly, we want to make sure that we match up the prospect with the business and get them off to the right start.
Right. Yeah, well, I know from our relationship, the people who call us are, very solid business people, know what they're doing, and you can tell have the right attitude, and, you can tell that are going to be successful. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find that business on the conversion. But very solid business people, so I can see your goal of finding the right people is the right strategy.
Absolutely, and we've been very fortunate about that. As you know, we've been around. It's been 30 years, and we reinvest a lot of the dollars that that we generate from the royalty side back into support and training, and that's very important to us. And that's the reason. With any organization today, you got to have good validation. And what I mean by that is that most prospects are going to talk to franchisees. That's what I always recommend. And, we have about 95% validation, and that's important to us. When we put somebody in business, we always tell them, hey, you need to talk to people that maybe just recently joined the franchise or people that have been with us for 20 years. So, yes, that's very important to us.
That's a good point. And talking about finding the right people, what specific characteristics do you think will make a successful Allegra Print and Imagaing franchisee, Darryl?
Well, it's a good question. We're normally looking for people that have a strong work ethic and a desire to succeed. And, we're also looking for people that have, that are very customer service oriented.
Right.
And, have a positive attitude that look at the glasses half full instead of half empty. But, also, we're attracting a lot of people out of, corporate America today that just, want to control their own destiny and call their own shots. And so, even though it's important what they have on their resume, more important to us is that we've got people of all walks of life. And, and if I find somebody that, where they feel very strongly about the desire to succeed with a strong work ethic, it goes so far.
Right.
Absolutely.
You talked before about training a little bit being a couple of weeks, Darryl. Anything more specific about training that's unique to the Allegra Network?
Yeah, that's also a good question. The fact that, we always want to give more training than not enough. We've got a lot of great programs out there that we have for the franchisees. Not only do they get the 2 weeks and the week of on-site training, but they get 30 days of training from the existing owner on the conversion side. And then from there, we assign them to what we call a performance group. And this is like a peer group. So, for instance, if you're buying a business that's doing $1 million a year in sales, we're going to match you up with 5 or 6 other franchisees that are going to be part of what we call a performance group, and that's where we sit down and they sit down with other fellow franchisees and talk about ways to improve their cost of goods, ways to improve their cost of labor, how to control their expenses, what they do on the marketing side, if they have questions about equipment, if they got questions on staffing, if they got questions on, pricing or anything like that. We assign them to a group, and we monitor that. Our regional operations directors that are in the field work with the new franchisees and work with the franchisees that are involved in the performance group. So not only are we teaching, but we a lot of times say the franchisee is really mentoring the new people coming in.
That's interesting. Yeah,
it sounds like it's basically a support group.
Right. Sharing best
and everybody has the same goals. I'm sorry,
right.
Marty?
Yeah, I was saying to share best practices, Darryl and Don.
Yes, best practices. We've been doing, and this is all part of our marketing materials, just part of our the training and support here. We've been part of an annual operating ratio study that all franchisees can participate in. And, that's shared at the performance groups. They come to a performance group every 6 months, and they'll travel to different locations throughout the country. And but that annual operating ratio study has been very, very helpful to us as a franchisor, trying to help the franchisee understand what an income statement is and what a balance sheet is.
Right.
Because face it, most of us are not CPAs.
Right.
We look at maybe joining a franchise. So we try to give them the tools and give them the information and try to teach them how to be successful in this business from the numbers.
Absolutely. What's a typical day like, Darryl, for an Allegra Print and Imaging franchisee? Is it kind of like a 9 to 5, as you were mentioning earlier, because it's business to business?
Yeah, it's 8:30 to 5:30. Most of our hours are closed on the weekend, but the typical day normally is you come in. And usually what happens in the first hour or so, they meet with all the employees and the staff, and they have a production meeting. They talk about the work, the jobs that are in process, talk about what maybe has to get done that day. They also, spend some time, maybe invoicing some of the customers. They'll spend some time in the community. We highly recommend for new franchisees to get involved in the Rotary or the Chamber or some other kind of networking organization where they spend time. But more importantly, whether you're buying an existing business with customers or opening up a new one, what's important is that we want our franchisee to focus on their top 50 accounts because that represents about 80% of our business. A lot of our customers are repeat customers that come back to us on a monthly basis, and so we try to focus a lot on retention and relationship building. So we have the new franchisee normally going out and just touching a lot of people in the community because that's very important.
Absolutely.
I forgot to mention before, Darryl, and you might have forgotten, but my business uses Allegra here in New Jersey.
Absolutely. That's Ellis Galley Media, I think you work with.
Right. I think that was mandatory. I think you demanded I have to use Allegra when I first started.
Well, I think you made the right decision. Hopefully you're getting very good service, and I know he's a good franchisee, and we're excited about him being part of our team.
Yeah, I've been very happy with his service. Very consistent and, nothing ever to worry about, so we've been happy.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Darryl, we have about 30 seconds. What's the best way for someone to get in touch with you or get more information on Allegra?
Well, the best way to do that is to call our toll-free number.
Okay.
And that's 1-888-258-2730.
Okay.
And they can call in, and we can send them out some information, or we can send them out a disclosure document.
Okay.
And also, they can visit our website, and that's www.allegra.network.
Okay, good. We actually have that.
ALLEGRA network.com.
That's great. We have that actually posted on our show page, and we can actually put the phone number up there as well, Darryl.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you. You've been a fantastic guest, and you guys have an incredible opportunity. So, I look forward to speaking with you guys again in the future.
Great
Thank
job,
you, Marty.
Darryl, and look forward to continued working with your company, and again, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darryl. You have a great day today.
Thank you.
Take care.
Great show, Donna. It was something else.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting concept.
Yeah, I've been working with Allegra for years, and I didn't know a few things that he was, talking about. I think it's great, investing in a franchise. You just reinforce why people invest in a franchise. Things like that performance group, support group. I mean, these things are great to help you continue to succeed and grow.
Right, absolutely. Well, that's good. Well, you did another good job, Don. Fantastic show. Again, next week who's our guest next week?
I think it's us. I think we're the guests.
There you go. We're the guests next week. So.
People listen.
Can't forget about that,
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great show next week. And following week, we have Jim Cohen. And we have, I think we have the whole month of May actually booked as well, too. So we'll have those up on the show page as well. So we have
a lot of nice stuff coming up. Yeah.
So much going on, Very, very busy here at Franchise